Okay. I am very much on my Jesus right now. Okay, I need to do some exercise, my normal stretching routine. So I'm gonna do that, but I also wanna record, but I also have to do something else. So let's just do 2 birds, 1 stone right now. Wow, let me just adjust everything so it's okay. Like this, like that, like that. Haha! So my initial plan for this was gonna be like a stress relief, but I started practicing because I've noticed in the past times where I tried to freeball videos, I didn't like them, so I ended them. So I was practicing yesterday, and after counseling myself for a little bit, I'm like, JC, this is such a pity party. I don't want to throw that on the internet forever for me to watch, you know? And so I want to speak about what's been on my mind the most, which has been this one post by the man who taught me astral projection that said, you must do what's right. It's along these lines, but you got to do what's right, and doing what's right might not be what's easy. And then on top of that, one of my friends gave me a job application for a sanctuary, a retreat area nearby. And the job application requires you giving them the resume. And the question that you're put along with the resume is, what makes your soul light on fire? What lights your soul, you know? What's just your drive? What's your purpose, essentially? And the first thing that my mind said when I saw that was, am I doing the right thing? And that makes me absolutely spiral. Just absolutely spiral. Because it makes me question every decision that I'm making. And that's not a fun way to live at all. And so while I am struggling and worrying and getting nervous when I realize I definitely am not doing the right thing, I then found myself listening to Nisargadatta Maharaj. I wish I could pronounce it beautifully correct, but I'm going to pronounce it with a very English accent. That one yogi, sadhu, holy man, he's not a sadhu, but that one man that I've been speaking about recently. And in one of the pieces of advice that he gave to someone who was like, I've done so much. Like, what do I do? What, like, literally, what do I? He tells him, I can't. Compose yourself. He tells him to just let the mind stop. It takes some effort, but live without the mind. And I've been practicing it. And I just did it right there because I've meditated a lot. I do have that ability to turn it off. However, it does take effort to keep it off. It's like if I were to turn off, you already get it. If I were to turn off my lights, but then it just turns back on. So I gotta make sure that it stays off. And in some time, I can trust the light switch not to turn back on, so I can return back to my exercises that I need to get done because the mall closes very soon. So anyway, let's get back to it. And so I keep catching myself wanting to think, because I think that's, do you see the paradox in that? Wanting to think because I think that's what's gonna solve all my problems. But that's what I've been trying, and it hasn't worked. And insanity is trying the same thing over and over and over again, expecting a different outcome. And so I've realized that this is a radically different approach. And one of the things that stops me and has stopped me since I've realized this method as a technique for peace, for spiritual development, because I've known about it for a while. I just don't practice it for the reason of socializing, for the reason of its effects on my relationships and my feeling of lack of control. However, feeling is still kind of like a derivative of thought. I'm gonna stick with that. I'm sure some people will, disagree with that. But this is my YouTube channel and I'm talking to a camera, and I'm not gonna defend myself right now because I need to keep doing exercises. Anyway, the real thing is like I become silent. Like right there, I did that one thing. It's because I did it. And when I did it, it felt so much better to not talk, because talking disturbed that silence. And I didn't want to put any effort. I'm doing it again. Because it's like a little black hole of love. You just want to like roll into it. I still need one more on this arm. There we go. And so I have the answer. And there's certain things which I know will really set up the environment well for me that I don't feel like I'm totally willing to do yet, like one of them being to turn off my phone. I have done little experiments when my partner's away at work or busy and I know she won't be on her phone, because I don't like to turn off my phone because I do have some attachment issues. I feel like I need to be there always, no matter what, when it comes to communication, because of past traumas that I've had in relationships, to where I feel like I'm very replaceable. And my partner 100% does not treat me in the same way as the people that helped condition this type of thinking. My partner is an earth angel. Love you. I love you. But yeah, it's a fear that I need to set aside. And this fear is also a derivative of thinking. And so if I truly commit to this no-mind state, that won't even be present within me. And maybe I don't even need to turn off my phone to do this as efficiently as I think I need to do. As efficiently as I think I can. Back to stretching. And so I could sit here and just list off all the issues that has been stressing me out, but at the core of it, it's just thinking. It's just the mind. The mind stresses me out. Period. The mind stresses me out. And this advice is like the equivalent of a billionaire telling you exactly how to become a billionaire. And it's fail-proof, 100% fail-proof. And it's extremely simple. It's just not easy, It kind of goes back to that one thing. It's the right thing to do. It might not be the easy thing to do, but it's definitely the right thing to do. And it's very easy to put off that when you think you're fine. When you're like, okay, well, I know what the right thing to do is, and I can do it whenever I want, so I'll just do it later. However, yesterday, I knew what the right thing to do was, and still I decided to do the wrong thing, thinking it would be fine, and I've realized the absolutely catastrophic and completely unforeseen butterfly effect that ensued once I decided to not do the right thing, which was make grape juice. Instead, I decided to eat my grapes. And then that made me want the salad, which I had been craving my whole shift. And I told myself no on the salad, that we could have the salad after the fast that I was gonna do, which would have started with that grape juice. But instead I had the salad, and then I had 3 pieces of toast because I started getting ravenous. And then I really got a sweet tooth and I had no more sweet stuff. So I went and I bought Chips Ahoy cookies. And then I beat on myself because I bought Chips Ahoy cookies. And then I had to eat a bunch of lettuce to make sure that Chips Ahoy cookies doesn't get stuck in my intestines. If you eat anything really starchy, like, any type of bread, any type of cookie, any type of rice, pasta, if you have a big salad with it, ooh, it'll make it pass. So you don't get constipated. But anyway, I basically had to do a whole bunch of compensation eating for my wrong choices. And I hate it so much. I feel swollen, I feel fat, I feel gross, I feel less worthy, I feel disgusting when I do that. I feel disgusting, and it's my worst habit right now. My worst habit prior was smoking weed, and that is just gone. That is not even a concern of mine anymore. Back in the past, I used to get so nervous about getting the thought of wanting to smoke because I wasn't strong enough to say no. Now, the big worry is when I become ravenous because I don't feel strong enough to say no. But all of this is just thinking, just overthinking, just boom, 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 boom. And so again, with no mind, none of that is a problem. None of that is a problem. When I get thirsty, I will drink. When I get hungry, I will eat. When I feel full, I will stop. I don't think. I don't follow the thinking. The mind is insane if you don't have some type of control over it. And like I said earlier, I can turn it off, but in those moments, when I turn it off, it like turns back on immediately. And I don't have the confidence. I just don't feel right. And so I usually have to go to sleep and kind of start all over the next day. And so that was a little pity party right there. And I didn't really like that. So I think I'm gonna wrap it up there because you guys have a good understanding of where I'm at right now. And that's really the whole purpose of this whole video is I understand what I need to do. I understand my biggest obstacle right now. And well, I guess I can continue. I lied, I totally lied to you, I'm so sorry. One of my methods of progress back in the day was to create one big goal that took me the whole month to complete. I once met this 40-year-old man named Josh, who used to be a regular at this coffee shop I used to work at, and we would hang out, and Josh was dope. Josh was the leader of a Marine squadron. He then went to be the sales manager of 3 Harley Davidsons. And for those of you that don't know, that's like the top freaking dog. There's 2 top dogs, and that is one of the top dogs when it comes to like the world of sales. So yeah, he was a top sales guy, and then he moved all the way out west. He used to be in the Midwest, and he said that if you overshot, if you created goals that were too intense, once you reached them, you'd be too tired to continue through the next month. If you undershot, then you would underperform. But if you created goals that you could, shoot through, then that momentum would carry into the next month, which would help you shoot through the other one. And it was just, I feel like you understand what I'm saying. And so that's what I did, and I adopted that, and it worked incredible. Every month I completed the goal that I set out for myself, and usually way before the end of the month, because it's all I would think about. And it, good things take time. It's so easy to do something bad for you. You can do something bad for you immediately. I could go overeat right now, but it takes time to develop the habit of conscious eating. It takes time to develop the habit of seeing appetite as an opportunity and seeing appetite as a sacred opportunity to eat food that will only help my well-being in quantities that are not detrimental, because even too much good turns into bad. And then seeing the time after that with the energy, seeing the time after eating as a sacred opportunity to enjoy life, to then keep practicing that non-mind state, to keep being. I say these things like I'm trying to sell them. I feel like I'm trying to sell them, like you should get excited about them. But again, this is my journal. This is my safe space. This is a space that I have created for myself to help me develop, because someone's got to keep me accountable, and it's got to be this camera, because I can't lie to the camera, which I've definitely failed, but I always get back up. Okay, now I'm gonna end it because I don't really know where to go from here. And I'm gonna practice, I'm gonna practice no mind thing. Okay, I love you. Mwah. Okay, bye, adios. Woo.